Gemini, welcome to your 5-card movie star spread. Oops. As per usual, you can click right on that description box below and it will talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. Here we go. Okay. Gemini, this is interesting. So this is you, okay? You've very recently gone through a very painful ending, but you're recognizing the worst is behind you. You know, whenever there's tens, it's endings and new beginnings. Like, this card can often represent the death of an idea, okay? So you wanted something to turn out a very particular way. You planned it and you thought about it and you hoped for it and you wished for it and you tried to manifest it, but you held on to it so tightly that when it didn't turn out exactly the way you wanted, you were devastated. But because you recognize you're not getting the outcome that you wanted, the worst part is over. So what you decided to do was make a bunch of changes without really worrying about the results. You took action and didn't really think your way through it. Luckily, you aren't making any life-changing choices in the process. So the choices and decisions and actions you're taking, although you're not concerned about the consequences aren't that big to begin with. It's just you kind of like, if I didn't know any better, you're just ignoring your responsibilities. It's not like you aren't getting stuff done. You're just procrastinating and blowing things off and not really prioritizing. But you're still muddling through, okay? You might be doing a little bit of partying, you know what I mean? Just whatever it is to distract yourself from your regular responsibilities, those are the types of changes that you're making. And you're not thinking about the consequences yet. They aren't huge major life decisions, okay? But you're kind of embarrassed to communicate the fact that you are blowing shit off. You know what I mean? You don't want people to have that perception of you, so it's a little uncomfortable to communicate that to other people. But ultimately, you're standing your ground saying, you know what, because I went through so much pain, right now I'm just going to do what makes me feel good. I'm not all that concerned with the consequences. I just don't want people to know how careless I'm being. Interesting. So the fives are always interesting because the fives are about chaos. They're about uncomfortable change. But the reason we deal with uncomfortable change in our life is to A, either light a fire up under our ass, or B, to help us realize the things that we don't want. And that's what you're doing right now, okay? Like I said, you're focusing on the pain just enough to figure out what you don't want to go through again. But somewhere deep inside, you know there's a little something left to salvage. You just salvage, not savage. Ooh, that'd be a completely different read. There's a little something left to salvage. You just aren't taking action on it right now. You don't feel like you have the strength to bring in any sort of emotional happiness right now. You just kind of feel like it hurts too much, you know? So you go, like I said, you mutter through things and you keep going with your plans and you get stuff done, but you're not really taking the time to enjoy the moments that you have, you know? You're not really making any big decisions. For this, I feel that you're just having a hard time to communicating the truth with people in general. Like you're wearing a little bit of a mask for everybody, and the mask that you're wearing is different for everybody in your environment. Gemini, I'm sorry you're going through this. This doesn't sound like fun. Yeah, see? But you recognize that you need to process these difficult things in order to find the emotional stability that you lost Okay? So you recognize that you went from calmer waters to choppier waters. Things did not go the way you wanted it to, but you feel like at some point this is going to turn around as long as you take the time to figure out how you got there in the first place. Like I said, you recognize you kind of know that these two cups are here. You had to put them down in order to see what was here. But you just aren't taking the action because you're so emotionally drained from this painful ending. These two together tell me that you're just not taking the action to bring yourself happiness. But you know that eventually you'll go through the pain and the processing the emotions and find that stability again. It's just not going to happen tomorrow, or maybe the next day, or maybe the next week. But you know it's there because you recognize that you're feeling your way through everything. Gemini, my heart goes out to you. Okay? But I like the fact that you're not running away from the situation, that you're actually taking the time to face it and to process it. It's a very difficult energy to be in, but ultimately it will do you some good. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you next week.